Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. I'm Nick Park, and I'm taking us through a series on the great prayers of the Old Testament. And we're going through the books of the Old Testament and seeing how God basically built his people and trained his people in the practice of prayer. And they learned more and more powerful principles in their prayer. And we are on a similar journey. And as we go through these Old Testament passages, I believe that God is building something great in our prayer lives. And we've come now to 2 Chronicles chapter 14. And in 2 Chronicles 13, we read about King Abijah. King Abijah was a great warrior, a great general. In fact, he brought Judah, the nation of Judah, from a place of weakness until they were able to overcome the northern kingdom of the 10 tribes with their idolatry and their compromise. And so Abijah was a great warrior and a great general. And when he died, his son Asa came to the throne. But Asa realized it was not enough to be a great general. He realized that there had to be a spiritual strength at the core of the people in Jerusalem. And so he launched a reformation, and he tore down the high places and he removed the idols from the land. Not just worshipping false gods, but even where people were offering worship to the true God, but not in the way that God wanted them to, or in the temple where God wanted them to do it. And so he started this reformation, and at first there was peace. But then he was invaded by the Cushites, which is the Ethiopians. And it says in verse 8, Asa had an army of 300,000 men from Judah, equipped with large shields and with spears, and 280,000 from Benjamin, armed with small shields and with bows. And all these were brave fighting men. Zerah the Cushite marched out against them with an army of thousands upon thousands and 300 chariots, and came as far as Mareshah. And Asa went out to meet him, and they took up battle stations in the battle of Zephathah near Mareshah. And there Asa called to the Lord his God and said, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, Lord our God, for we rely on you, and in your name we have come against this vast army. Lord, you are our God. Do not let mere mortals prevail against you. Now, Asa understood the principles of warfare that he had learned from his father, and he gathered a mighty army. I mean, we're talking altogether there nearly 600,000 men. But the Cushites brought possibly one of the greatest armies the ancient world had ever seen. It says thousands upon thousands, which in Hebrew is millions. So he had over 1 million, possibly many more warriors. So he was outnumbering the nation of Judah at least 2 to 1, and they had chariots, which were a really powerful weapon in warfare at that time, which the people of Judah did not have. And so Asa had he'd done his best. Militarily, he had done everything he knew how to do in recruiting and training an army and equipping it and getting them out onto the field. But he knew his best was not good enough. And I think we all find ourselves in those circumstances now and again. When we face a situation, we face a problem, and we know that even our best is not good enough. It's not that we've been lazy. It's not that we've been ill-prepared. Just we are facing such an opponent that our best is not good enough. And that's where Asa called out and says, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Now you might say, Asa, come on, you're not powerless. You've got like over 500,000 men. But yeah, compared to the mighty force of the Cushites with their superior numbers and their chariots, Asa's army was powerless. And yet when he called upon God, then God came into the situation and they won a great victory. You know, when you recognize that your opponent is stronger than you, when you recognize that your abilities and your strengths are not enough, there's nothing shameful in that. That's not a lack of faith, unless you allow it to stop you from calling upon the Lord. But if you call upon the Lord and you say, Lord, pray those very words, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. I really believe some of us need to pray that way today. We need to say, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. And then pray for God's deliverance and see what he does on your behalf. In Jesus' name, God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.